get started with our special call meeting this morning. It's Monday, August the 18th, 9 o'clock here at the Fire and Rescue Center. This is a special call meeting of Commissioners Court. Just please stand for the pledge and prayer. Commissioner Ward.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this beautiful day you've given us and all the blessings of life. We give you thanksgiving. Lord, we ask that you continue to send rain to heal our land. And we may see all the springs and creeks running again. We know that gift comes from you. Lord, we ask for blessings upon our county, on the citizenry. Lord, we ask that you would bring peace and comfort to those who lost all. Those who are ill, we lift them up to you. We ask for your blessings and wisdom this day. We will make decisions that are great wisdom. For us in Jesus' name.
Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we'll call the meeting to order at 9:06. Okay. Full court present. Thank you all for being here this morning. All right, Sheriff, you want to come on up? Our first item is deliberate and consider actions on the following. Countywide burn ban. I put it on here right quick this morning. Do you want to wait another week? We're just a week away from our regular meeting, but I put it on here today just to be discussed. I reached out to the fire chief, visited with him via text messaging, and he was comfortable with leaving it till next week. He was like, there's still some brush piles and stuff, and where they've done brush work and stuff, it's not too much of a concern. It's where they haven't done anything to clear around or whatever. But so you want to just postpone it till next week again? All right, well, just no action on that one. All right. Discuss and approve interlocal agreements between Garza County, Terry County, Kerr County, and Scurry County. Boom.
Okay. Ever since we got this thing back from the governor on confirming warrants, et cetera, we're going to be running out of jail space fairly soon, because in the past 8 days since we started this, we've already confirmed 18 warrants. We've got 22 in jail in Medina, and it's filling up very fast. We've got some more transports probably coming in Tuesday and Wednesday. I think it's 3 more, so that'll take us up to 25, or how many more they're going to be able to handle. So we reached out to 4 other counties to secure bed space in the event it's needed. Hopefully, we're not going to need it, because after Medina, the closest one is Kerr. And then after that, we start getting up into the Texas Panhandle, and we're looking at 5-6 hours one way to get them. The county attorney asked on some of these agreements that we get a clause in there for Zoom court. One of them has reached out and said, yes, we can do Zoom court. That's one I brought to you today. The other, hopefully today or tomorrow, we'll have them in, get those signed back up to them.
Where's Garza? That's lovely.
That's Lubbock area. Yeah.
All right, and I spoke to Judge Shanklin in Rock Springs, and I asked if he would do one with us just for locals only, no OLS people.
Okay.
I said, if I get somebody that has a deal, it's 30 days in jail, blah, 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 can we reach out to y'all? He said, let me talk to my sheriff and everything. So maybe we get some just for the locals. I said, not necessarily no OLS folks, but just if we got somebody that needs to go 30-day sentence somewhere right there close local, he said he would visit with his sheriff. And then I met at a deal last week in Austin. Bell County judge spoke to us and everything, and they have a 4,000 bed facility. And I said, that's Temple area. And I said, would you consider an MOU? And he's, I gave him a business card, and he said, I have this Jack somebody, it's written on the back of that business card. But he said, this guy will probably reach out to you and see if there's something. I said, well, if you have it, we can have it on the books as an MOU. We could use you. We write up 35. It's fairly close, but I said not too close, but I mean, he said, no, he said, they would consider it. So I said, okay, well, I haven't heard from him. So,
Well, what we're looking on the transport, we're giving them, the transport company bringing them to us.
they gotta come to us to be
Become us
processed.
to be booked. We're talking with them to maybe do a 24-hour turnaround. Once we get them booked, depending on how soon we can get a magistrate, if they'll take them from here up to their
Wherever,
to wherever.
give us 24 hours. Here to get. Now, what's happening um, is, state of Texas is basically going to close the two prison systems, the two prisons that we've been using to house inmates. All right. As we got coming down towards the wind end of this, the tail end of them functioning those facilities for all the counties that are having OLS issues, border issues, they have said that they won't take a warrant person. It basically had to be a brand new case, brand new person.
But that has changed. They're not taking anybody.
Well, at that beginning, now it's to where end of August, we're closing the doors. So what happens to the ones that we have in there?
Well, they'll stay there until their cases are either dissolved or sentenced to jail time, or
Or
whatever.
they bail out and get dissolved or whatever. But so who's in there now? 15, 18, 20 of them, whatever it is.
For us, right now, we've got 15. 15.
15.
But total, there's 92 or 93.
They will stay. But somebody that was originally went to a Briscoe facility per se in Dilley, got bonded out, then never made it back to court. Failure to appear warrants. They won't take those people back. And now they're closing the doors anyway. So what we're trying to find is as these folks get apprehended again for reentry somewhere, or they never did leave, they got bonded out and didn't leave, there wasn't an ICE detainer on them, something like that, and they stayed in the country per se. They get apprehended, well, they got a failure to appear warrant, bench warrant deal per se or something, or a warrant filed at large on. So those are the folks going forward that we're going to have to deal with and stuff. And we do have OLS funding to help pay for OLS related housing and OLS related transportation. So that's where we're using the transport company to bring them to us. But also in that, the facility in Del Rio is being closed, the processing facility. They're shutting it down too. So not only will they no longer be able to be apprehended, taken there, processed, and then delivered wherever for housing, they're all going to come back. All of that will come back into our jail now with the magistration and stuff, and when they get the warrants and stuff. When they get picked up on a warrant and stuff, or a new case comes about, smuggling, trespassing, or whatever, those will all be magistrated back, comes back to the county now and stuff. So,
And all these closings are pretty much because it's just everything slowed down.
Well, see, that's the argument we're having with the legislature. So, well, there's nothing there, but we still have, Kinney County still have 2,000 warrants. So we've got to get them picked up. But they say there's going to be funds there, but they haven't said if there's going to be a grant type issue. If we just send them a bill for an escrow account, they said we'll find the money. So
one possible solution would be that, and Sheriff Martinez in Valverde County said, look, let's try to work something out where, like, we send them to Valverde County, they get processed, and Valverde County finds somewhere to house them. But there's a fund, a grant, or something through the state to help offset his expenses and the additional employees and stuff. But they would still service the 14 counties that are Operation Lone Star, but he would become the processing center and stuff. Valverde Sheriff's Office would. But that may be 30 days from now, maybe 90 days from now. But that is our solution that we're most in favor of, to try to work something out there where it stays in Valverde County, and we send everybody there to process it, and then they find somewhere for them to be housed or whatever. That's our number. But in the meantime, we don't know from the end of August until when that's going to occur. And it may not occur, but that's what the BPU is working on. That's what the sheriffs are working on and stuff that are in these 14 counties. So today, trying to find just additional bed space besides Medina, Kerr, where do we go from there? And that sheriff has gotten, like I say, these Garza County, Terry County, Kerr County, and Scurry County. Um, one page from Terry County.
Yeah,
They're
they're
not,
short and sweet.
they're not.
Go ahead.
We hadn't reached out to go ahead just yet.
Okay.
Where's Terry?
Yeah,
Where's Terry?
of course, the panhandle.
Panhandle Drive.
Yeah, with the transport company, they're happy with this again. We just brought in two from Oklahoma. Again, we're bringing one in from South Carolina and one from Montana.
And like I say, on the bookkeeping end of things for us, it's the locals will be locals, the OLS related cases will be OLS. That's not to say a local and OLS folks may be in Medina County. They are, but as far as billing and whatnot, the separation of it, the report, this OLS related could be refunded through OLS money. And this is local. That's going to be a bookkeeping deal that the sheriff's office will have to kind of keep straight and stuff. So, Garza County is $72 a day. Terry County is $65 a day.
Kerr County is $100 a day.
There's 100. Okay.
I think the other was 70 or 70.
It's what, 60? 60.
They're ranging anywhere from 60 to $100.
100. Okay. And then one question that Brent and I kind of had, and he talked to you about a little bit, was Zoom. For the most part, our court can still have Zoom hearings and so forth. So if a inmates in Medina County or Kerr County or Curry County or Terry County, wherever, they could Zoom. But eventually, when there is an actual in-person docket, we would have to get transportation lined up to bring them here and then get them back. Now, on the housing of those inmates when they're here, what's the plan there?
Well, the plan, hopefully, if everything goes well, they'll be transported to here. And if we can get the in-person stuff done quick enough, the transport company will wait and return them.
Return them, or if they're to be released
If they're to be released,
on some blah blah blah. And Medina's got a spot, they maybe just go to Medina or Kerr County rather than going all the way back up there.
well, it depends on the contract, depends on the transport company. So
Because that's the only thing we get 11 folks down here one day for in-person court,
that's gonna be a lot of transport because it's gonna be scattered a little bit everywhere.
and then 5 of them have to go back, 6 of them get released, but they don't get released until a couple of things are done. Where can we hold?
Depending on how long we have to have them, we may be able to store them here up to 72 hours.
Anybody have any questions on B, C, D, and E this morning? And they're all renewable, automatic renewals,
I believe that most of them said that.
automatic renewals unless otherwise.
On some of them, it's 60-day notice.
Yeah.
So Valverde, we gotta wait till they meet as a commissioner's court to get it.
No, it's a state deal. It's more of a Sheriff Martinez is just kind of suggests like, I'm willing to take that on in-house, but it won't really be any of his in-house folks to do it. You'd have to bring in a whole nother team. And the funding for that would have to come from the state. And then we would just, he would, however it would work, all that has to be worked out if that's the route that gets approved to do and stuff. And like I say, that's the preferred route from the locals and the sheriffs and stuff, but it's not set in stone. It's not done yet.
Logistically, for sure, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, all right. And this one here is the one from Garza County.
Yeah, paragraph 10.
It deals with Zoom. Needs 3-day notice for a Zoom meeting, which they should be able to get that.
Yeah.
Is that the provision I wrote in or?
Says Kinney County prisoner held in custody by Garza is authorized by the presiding judge to appear remotely via Zoom. Garza agrees to make every reasonable effort to facilitate their court appearance via Zoom with adequate notice of at least 3 days.
Yeah, we usually get the district docket a week in advance. As soon as we get it, if one of our people's on there, we can send them the docket, get that lined up, probably a week or so.
That'd save a lot of money, transport them all the way here and back, instead of getting a laptop and putting it on.
Yeah.
And you can also prioritize which, where do you want to send them, Garza does Zoom, but other county doesn't, so I'd go with the one that does Zoom. Of course, it depends on the presiding judge allowing that, but I think if they knew the circumstance, I don't think they'd have a problem with it depending on the hearing.
We didn't already have one with Kerr County?
We did.
Yeah, we're just renewing, double check to make sure that we do have it on file.
All right.
Burnett County, we don't have one anymore with Burnett.
We'll try to get that one renewed this week. We've got 3 or 4 others pending, waiting to hear back from them. See if the 501 to hurry up and get done in the case the business picks up this week.
Okay. Any questions or comments or concerns? All right, entertain a motion to approve item B, Garza County. So moved by Commissioner Ward, second by Commissioner Ferret. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried unanimously. Item C, motion to approve, disapprove of interlocal agreement for housing with Terry County. So moved by Commissioner Montalvo, second by Commissioner Dotson. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carried unanimously. Item D this morning is approve or disapprove interlocal agreement with Kerr County for inmate housing. So moved by Commissioner Ferret. Second by Commissioner Ward. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. And all those opposed, same sign. Motion carried unanimously. Item E this morning is discuss and approve interlocal agreement between Scurry County and Kinney County for housing. Entertain a motion to approve or disapprove. So moved to approve by Commissioner Dotson. Second by Commissioner Montalvo. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carried unanimously. All right, that'll take care of those interlocals. We'll get those signed, Sheriff, and back over to your office. Next is just a review and discuss Kinney County's proposed budget for 2025, 2026. I provided you this morning what Ms. Jones provided last week. This was emailed to my office and Ms. Gutierrez's office on the 12th. And then this is what had to be posted by the 15th on our website. So this is the proposed budget for 25, 26. There in our email, you can see where our calculations and health insurance and so forth was. And so forth, grants, law enforcement, insurance, auto insurance, and things like that. Well, we met and did our budget workshops, met with all the departments and everything, went through that stuff. Becky and I met Saturday morning at the office and went back through the auditor's budget, proposed budget here and stuff. And Cheryl, are you on the call this morning? I was hoping she'd be on the call or be here to help us kind of go through this, because we've never seen one with this much detail. Just clarify why we're seeing this or what's the reason for. So, the first few pages there, the rate and so forth, the rate's just slightly less. The voter approved rate is just going to be slightly less than last year's rate. See, and then road and bridge and stuff. But you flip through there and you get to the recapitulation. On that page, this page here, page 5. One of the questions I had was, it says values excess for use in county fiscal year taxable values for county revenues. It has that 1,148,993,498, but then ad valorem taxes, and then the certified values, taxable values for county revenues. The next one down there below that, it says taxable values for county revenues is 1,149,205,759. I'm not sure why there's a difference in those two numbers when it's classified as the same in her column as taxable values for county revenues. Not sure why that would be different. But don't know. Go to page 7. Page 7. The top header there is general revenue, road and bridge, special revenue, grants, and grand totals. Revenues from ad valorem taxes is figured at the 5.4 million. Road and bridge 330,000. Sales tax 940,771. Intergovernmental general is 100,768. No, not sure what that is. Road and bridge is 9,500. Special revenue is 10,339,069. My guess is that is GEO. It's my guess. License and permits, fees, interest, $137. That seems a little low. So I circle that on the state and federal grants. General is 51,000, and then 350,000. Not sure where. Oh, that's SB 22 and the county attorney's money. That's what that 350 is. We got to talk on that on Saturday a little bit. Go down to conservation on expenditures. Well, public safety, public safety, special revenues 9,900,000. Assuming that's GEO. We passed through for GEO and stuff. And then the 250 is the sheriff's office over there. 100,000 would be the judicial. That'd be the SB 22 funds for Brent's office. Conservation 137,946. Not sure where we spend 137,000 in conservation. We thought maybe it was the dam structures. That's like 20,000. Wildlife Association that would pay OSSF fees and things that are collected. Not fees, but services. Cemetery. We don't know. It's just notes we made. So our total expenses are 21,350,000, which I think in the general public that's going to be below the dress up, but apparently we have to include the prison now, GEO. So I'm like, when you throw that in there, that makes that a very, very big number. General fund, page 8. You can see the actual in 22, 23, 24. Adopted was 25 this year, where we're at year to date, unaudited, and the proposed in 26. Just going down the list there right quick. We had delinquent taxes. We put in 50,000 is the adopted. That adopted column is what budget workshops when we met and visited. That's the workshops. And then she put in 49,601. Not sure. Same thing with mixed beverages tax license on the state mixed beverage license. We had 3,000. She put in 2,450. Not sure the difference there. Library revenues, she came up with a little bit more, 4,307. We had 4,000. Library donations, we had 500. She had 1,010. Attorney salary supplement is wrong. It says 28,000, but that changed. The state, this legislative session, they gave all the district judges pay raises. So that pay raise to the district judge compensated a different compensation state aid that I would get and Brent would get for county judge and county attorney. That should read 32,083.22 would be his state compensation there.
And when did she print this?
This is given to,
15?
no, this was given to us on the August the 12th. And then it had to be published to the website and so forth on by August the 15th. Miscellaneous receipts. We budgeted 10,000. She says we're $1,200,000 right now, and estimated to be $1,468,000. Assuming that's probably includes what we're getting from Geo in there now. And we've been getting it from Geo, but it was just,
Showing there.
yeah. Ambulance receipts, we estimated to be 150,000 in revenue. She put it in at 267,959. Not sure that there's $117,000 difference there. Civic Center receipts, we did 20,000. We actually had approved or discussed in budget workshops 10,000 for this year. That's what we discussed. And she came up with 17,916. Interest earned, we had estimated the interest to be 150,000 for this year, and she's got it at 137. So not sure why. Special sales tax, we estimated to be 200,000. Is what we adopted for this year. Year to date, it's 395. She's got it at 474 for instead of the 200,000. So she's got it significantly higher. County sales tax and use tax. Again, we had proposed estimated 200,000 in revenues. She's got it at 466. Refunds and reimbursements, we got it at 15,000. And year to date, 76,000. She's got it estimated to be 91,000. Lease parking, that's the cover parking around the county that we got. Those folks agreed to pay on those spots. 500, she put 313. Bond forfeiture, we estimated that to be $500,000. She's got it at 211,794. Tobacco settlement, they have it estimated at 25,000. She's got it at 51,000. Monthly rental, this is the soil water conservation line. It's a monthly rental deal, it's $5,100. She's got it 3780, so I don't know how she came up with that. It's a monthly rental. I don't know. Admin septic tank revenues, those are just when folks are doing their sewer systems and so forth and stuff. We got it estimated at 1,500. She's got it at 2,700. Certificates of compliance at 1,000. She's got it at 960. Those are with the electric co-op. They come in for a meter pole and stuff and whatnot for the electric co-op. They require a certificate of compliance. Building permits. She has year to date that we've collected $375 on that. And she's estimated revenue to be 450. We don't have building permits. Something got misplaced there. Reimbursement on insurance. We didn't put any money in as a revenue. It's reimbursement on insurance. Year to date, so far this year, it's at 14,787. She's got 17,745. Detention center deputy, 45,000 was adopted. And she's got it at 48,588. That's the deputy that the GO pays for a deputy. And on our adopted salary budgets for that deputy, it's 47,000. JP fines and stuff, we estimated 100,000. She put in 123. County court fines, we got it 75,000. She's got it estimated to be $146,838. So almost double what we estimated in our workshop. District court fines, we got it estimated at 75,000. She's got it in 24,829. Last year, we only adopted $1,000 out of district court fines, and this year we upped it to 75,000. But she's got it at 24,829. County clerk fees, we estimated to be 20,000. She's got it estimated at 36,774. No, that was county clerk fees. District clerk fees, we estimated 2,500. She's got it in at $12. Tax office fees, we estimated at 10,000. She's got 11,449. Sheriff's office fees, we estimated at 1,000. She's got it in at $2,600. County attorney fees, we didn't estimate any.
What fees?
And she's got it in at 720. Constable fees, we estimated none. She's got it at 366. In the year to date so far on county attorney fees, she has it at $600, and constable fees at 305.
You need to start charging something.
Court costs and arrest fees, we estimated at 40,000. She's got it at 44,467. Time, pay, judicial efficiency. We have it at 1,500. I'm not sure what that would even include, what that would be for. She has it, nothing there. Pilot reimbursements, those are on our tax abatements, $100,000. Proceeds from lease agreement, nothing there. Transfers, we have a transfers at $580,000 adopted for this year, and she has us in a negative 260,000. So those are just, as we went through this, just some like disparity that will, how did you come with that? We estimated it to be this, and it either went way down or up. We don't know. But this is what's published, and it's been posted on the webpage.
Fix that time, please. Judicial efficiency.
Mhm.
That's a, CD from the JP docs.
Oh, okay. So like I say, uh, we went through this and so forth. That other email that we got, Becky, is that the one that talks about the insurance? That's the,
With the, about the insurance,
yeah.
it's that one I printed out.
All insurance but law enforcement will be moved to countywide for simplicity. It's easiest to pay this from one place, but if you want to really split it by department, that can be done before final passing. So here, on Rick's budget proposed everything all the way down till you get down to like the retirement and unemployment. She's figured it at, FICA was calculated at 7.65 per the IRS. Retirement was calculated at 7.93 per TCDRS. But then down there, you see where we, public official liability, $400. She has nothing there. So in some offices, it still has that, but in some offices, it doesn't. So I don't know if she's intending to move like public liability to one line item in the countywide for insurance liability stuff, or if we're gonna, because some of them have it, some of them don't. Just make a note of that. But there's differences on the FICAs and the unemployment. She has 10,219 down there. We came up with 10,295. She has 10,593. We have 10,470. Insurance, she has 37,900. We have 37,470. So there's a little bit of differences there from what Diane had at budget workshops to what Cheryl has built in the budget now. County judge, everything again is the same. If we get down there to where the FICA and retirements are different a little bit, they're off there a little bit. And then the public official liability, that $400 down at towards the end, we have, she has nothing for that. And so just a few differences, but mostly the FICA and stuff and the clarification of the insurance. Where is, in my state supplement, is there 31,500? That is correct. That's what my new supplement will be from the state. It's 31,500. That's correct. County attorney's page, it's, again, the top portion of it's all the same, what we talked about. The supplement's what changes there. Line 906 for the attorney salary supplement. That's the 32,083.22. That's his new supplement this year with it says 31.5. It's actually going to be 32,083.22 for him. FICA and retirement's a little different there and so forth. And again, that public liability, public official liability, that $400, we just need to make sure we've got it accounted for somewhere else. Justice of the peace, again, go all the way down through there. Pretty good. A little off there on teacher retirement. Holy cow. But off on retirement and FICA stuff, just a little bit of difference there on those numbers. Where we are quite a big difference is on insurance. She's calculated all three of those employees over there at JP's office taking insurance. And right now, only two of them take insurance. So that's all we in our budget workshop proposals basically have $25,010 for insurance. She has $37,921. So there's a little bit of significant difference there. And again, that public office liability and property insurance, neither one of those are in her proposed budget there in that far right-hand column at the bottom down there, that $400 and $3,000 is what we talked about in our workshops, but she doesn't have that. So just got to make sure that we compensated for those where she's talking about putting it in that in a single line and under countywide. District court, we the first big change that we approved or talked about in budget workshops was adult probation. We have $20,000 there for adult probation. She has $2,000. Then everything else is pretty much the same down through there and stuff. I've talked to a couple of other judges and stuff about, paying the salaries for, we contribute to the district judge salary, the district attorney salary, the district court secretary, and assistant court coordinator, and the coordinator court county or coordinator administrative salary. We contribute to those and stuff, and I'm not sure why. When I'm talking to some other county judges and stuff, they say they just have instead of having a district court deal or whatever, they just have a line item called aid to government. And it's where they give money to the district judge and they give money to the district attorney. They just give it straight to their offices and they can do whatever they want to do salaries with it. They want to pay for supplies and materials and so on. But that's something not this year, but something we may consider in the future. We just say, all right, district judge, we're going to give you $60,000. District attorney, we're going to give you $32,500. Adult probation, $20,000. Juvenile probation, $30,000. Juvenile probation, instead they ask that each year, they send a letter and say, hey, again, just asking for, because they help with our juveniles out of that 63rd district and stuff. So something to consider about is like maybe the courts, and down here she's got the court and the stenographer, is that how you say it? Yeah, court reporter and interpreter and stuff, $18,000. That's on here as well. But that's, to me, that would be part of the district judges with the funds we give him. If he wants to use them to help pay that or whatever. Right now, OLS helps pay that for all of us and stuff. And I believe it's in next year's OLS, correct? Court reporter and stuff like that. So something to think about as we move forward is we may just say, hey, instead of, because the district judge and the district attorney, they're paid by the state. They get a salary. So why are we giving them a salary supplement if we just say, hey, here's this amount of money, we just give it to them, and then they do what they want to with it.
Judge, I thought the district offices do felonies for Kinney County. We are paying for the interpreters and work. Out of their class.
And it may be, and there's just a line on here for $18,000, and it has been a line for the last several years. And it may just be that we're paying for those, but then when we don't have OLS, we still have these funds available. Constable Earwood, same thing. We go down through there. Law enforcement liability, she has it here at $350, and we have it, and she included it in $350. Vehicle insurance, we said $800. This year she has $1,000, but in her emails, it's kind of understanding. I thought we were moving all our insurance to one line, but she may leave the law enforcement in there. She's leaving some law enforcement stuff separate, so I don't need to make sure that we're not double dipping that $1,000 somewhere else and so forth. And on insurance, he does not take the insurance. He takes $380 on insurance. So we're not sure if that's just dental, where it says insurance $12,640. His is $380. And we don't know if that's just taken for vision or dental or something, but he doesn't take the health insurance. He uses retirement insurance for Border Patrol. So and maybe she did a full blow insurance just to be on the safe side. I'm not real sure. Ms. Padrone's office and tax appraisal, again, we work our way down through there. Little off on the insurance and retirement and so forth. Again, there's that $400 for public liability. Public official liability, she doesn't have it. We just want to make sure that we got it covered somewhere else. Auditor's page is blank. She said that Judge Andrade will prepare that. Treasurer's page, again, all the same. We get down to that $400. Where are we covering that at? Because we did it as an office expense for that office, and she's saying that she's removing that. So let's make sure we got that moved. Sheriff's office. Get down towards the bottom before we have any changes here. Again, the FICA and retirement. Retirement was pretty significant difference. We estimated to be 107,000 down there towards the bottom. You see that on the sheriff's page where it says 107 in our line, in our column, what we proposed. Year to date, 50,000. And then we proposed retirement would be 105,485 or 80 something. She has it at 79,183. So there's a pretty significant difference there. Insurance, we had it proposed at 237,858, and a couple of lines down, she has it at 252. We did 237 this year in our budget workshops and everything. That total for us on the budget workshops was 286, 463. So there's about $24,000 difference there. We don't know why. Cheryl, are you on the call? Law enforcement liability. We budgeted proposed 8,500. She has it at $16,559 down there towards the bottom. Any questions on that one? See where I'm at down there? Everybody following me?
At what point do these lights come off? Because I know Liz is what, UPS now?
Yeah,
So I mean, why is she even project, I mean, I guess.
I think she started the year.
Placement?
Yeah, she started the year.
Right.
So yeah, and we made some marks on here. Go back over. Good point there, Commissioner. You go back over onto my page, and it's kind of misleading. And because it says judge cell phone, $2,000. I don't get $2,000 for a cell phone. The county provides me a cell phone. That should read cellular devices, cellular services. But that's my cell phone, my iPad, Becky's cell phone, EMS's cell phone, EMC cell phone. There's like 6 or 7 phones that come off that. So instead of it saying, we just want to reword that to say cellular device services instead of judging cell phone. But on yours, I believe it's because she was here part of the year, started this year in payroll and whatnot, and then her slot was then filled by Olivares, I believe. Is that who's next to her?
Well, that was my whole question. I mean, moving forward to 26, I mean, her name should even be on. That's all, making sure we didn't have a double dip or whatever. I don't see it on the bottom.
It's in, there's another line for Olivares, I believe in, on the OLS page, but it has Liz Gary and then Olivares. So I believe that's Olivares now, I believe. Parks and Recreation page. All good there. Property insurance, we had it at $1,500. Of course, she didn't put anything in there, but we just want to make sure that it's in countywide in that grand total that she included over there. County agent, Mr. Allen's worksheets, Uh, just the only big change would be down there at the insurance level. Uh, we have she has calculated in for both of them to receive insurance. Only one of those that receive insurance from the county out there, and that would be his assistant. I think his insurance is picked up by the A&M system. But on the side of caution and everything, she appears to have been figuring everybody up the insurance. Building maintenance. Very first line there in building maintenance, reduced that to 1,665,000 instead of 1.750 on page 21, the very top line. And that was the reduction of the 85,000 to consider the IT department stuff. IT director and IT assistant. I was just going to take those funds from there to help with the budget. So that line would be 1,665 instead of 1.75. Then we cruise on through. Everything's pretty good. Maintenance techs. Not sure why we have maintenance techs line 1015 there. That's Becky and I talking on Saturday. This is the Polo salary. She has it at 91,236. And adopted was 88,579. We're not sure. The line above that would be Miss Ortiz. The line below that we assume would be Polo, and that should be 47,203. And then where is Becky? Where did we decide that Mr. Rojas was? Oh, full-time help. Full-time help. 35,307 full-time help. It's just about 3 or 4 down below Polo's line. And then
That amount's not what she thinks Chad ought to be paid.
no, she created a page in here for him. There's a page for this IT department. So not sure why we got those figures there. So that's the building maintenance. Would be the first line of building maintenance funds. Reduce that to compensate the 85,000 to the IT department to pay those 2 positions and all their FICA and some travel and training. So that's where I took that money. Because in the budget workshop stuff, we didn't want to take more than $1,250,000 from fund balance, which would be a little less than what we had to take last year. But that was where we kind of said, hey, that's our threshold. We didn't want to exceed that. Library, everything checked out there other than just the differences in the FICAs and retirement stuff. That's on everyone. Page 22 there. Page 23, Historical Commission. Everything checked out there. What we had talked about in budget workshops and so forth. Countywide. Countywide, we went through everything checked out pretty good until we get down there to workers' compensation. We had budgeted 40,000 in that. Year to date, we've spent about 43,000, almost 44. She has $611. So not sure why we're that far off there. Property insurance. This is where we said 14,000 for countywide in our workshops budgets. She put in 72,696. So is that including all our properties for all our buildings, for everything? Like I said, like the pool, the courthouse, the sheriff's office, the substation, the tax office, the library, community center, EMS, is everybody a single line, and that's going to come out of a single line out of countywide. And then general liability, we didn't have anything budgeted in our proposed workshops and stuff that we talked about. She's saying year to date, we've spent 25,000 in that. In her proposed budget Proposal for 26, yes, 22,542. On that general liability. So
76 and 22 and 13 and 24. Who knows?
reimbursement out of linebacker, $2. I don't know what that would be for, but that's no longer. Contract administration help. 15,000, transfer to, Ameriprise. You remember several months ago, Ms. Gutierrez came to us and there was another fund balance that we could invest in through tax pool called Ameriprise. That's all that. It's showing that we've moved $7,700 there year to date. Investments. There's nothing for proposed. Skip vehicle insurance and maintenance. We had vehicle insurance and maintenance in countywide at 5,000. She's put it in at $64,237. I'm assuming that she's saying that for simplicity, we just move all insurance of all vehicles into countywide. So hopefully that covers it all. Say that louder. What?
The sheriff's been had.
Okay.
That's another one that we need to see if we can see the department.
Okay. Septic tank inspector. That's a $600 a month, so $7,200, $7,500. And we slide on down a little bit more, and we get to New Aces River Authority. $1,600 is what we've taken in so far this year, or expense. I don't know what that would have been for. Ms. Hobbs, Ms. Gutierrez, we moved them to their own grant department. Everything else is pretty good. Contingencies. She's got a new line down there called contingencies. She's put in $742,462. Not sure if that's the cash that's left of the $1,002,500 that we're transferring, or what that would be. Also in this countywide, where's vehicle expenses, Becky? 22 countywide vehicles. All right. Countywide vehicles. In visiting with the EMS director, Nick Morgan, he was saying that as he reads House Bill 3000, which is the rural ambulance or rural equipment fund that the state passed this year in Congress and legislation, that we can't reduce an EMS budget item or whatever, reduce kind of like SB 22. We can't reduce Brent's budget and supplement it with SB 22. Does that make sense? And they're saying we can't reduce the EMS budget. So in our proposed budget this year, we put $425,000 in EMS. He's saying we probably ought to move it to here, to where it's in here, where we have the funds set aside to purchase the ambulance, and not in their budget. To where next year, next year we can apply and say, so go up there to county vehicles line 2204. It's 40,000. We're going to add, it's 425, isn't it, Becky?
Yes.
We're going to remove that from EMS. Just to where there's not a gray area there. I said, well, we just stuck it in there as a single line item just to purchase, just to have the money where we could buy it. And not, and he said, yeah, but the way he's reading HB 3000 is, we'd probably be better off just to have it here, and it doesn't look like we reduce their budget for that. So
That's what he's saying, but I mean, common sense by line items should explain.
All right, so make a note of that. Civic Center property insurance. Here again, we said 4,500. She put in 4,500 too, but we thought we were moving all that to countywide. The very last line there, property insurance and content. My notes here on mine is, I thought we moved this into countywide. So if it's 4,500 over in countywide for property insurance, I don't need it here. That makes sense what we're talking about there. But she's saying she's moving, for simplicity, all property insurance should be moved to countywide. A single line per se. Grant matching, nothing there, all the same. What we proposed in our budget workshops and stuff, what we came up with, a little difference on the FICA and retirement stuff. All right, EMS, this is where a piece of a medical equipment is being purchased with funds that are remaining in OLS balance in our current year. It's like a
It's $6,600.
66,000.
66,600 for the cardiac defibrillator and 15,000 for the band stats. But that was approved in budget adjustment last week.
Okay.
So we can purchase it right now. Nick has turned in those purchase orders. They've already been approved and he will be ordering.
So that was, remember when Nick came and talked to us and he said, they'll give us, we need two. They'll give us both of them at this year's price. We budget one this year and we budget one next year. Well, Miss Westbrook has gone into their OLS with some funds remaining out of this year's budget, and they've approved that budget amendment to the OLS. So we're actually going to buy one this year. I say we leave it alone and we potentially buy the second one in next year's budget as well. Or wait a little bit, see if OLS, we couldn't do it later in the year.
There's already one program in next year's budget as well.
For OLS.
Yes.
Okay.
OLS. So there is, so that would be it.
Okay. So we could reduce that. We could leave it alone in case we need it somewhere else. As you know, overtime's eating our lunch and so forth, and we got overtime in at $200,000. Year to date, I believe we were about 220,000 year to date in overtime. I've talked to Nick. He's working on trying to figure out a way to work with overtime and reduce it to some degree. And I told him the possibility would be is the commissioners, we need to consider maybe saying these are the 5 dates of the year where we would approve having that third person. Big travel weekends or something like that, holidays and things, we'd approve that third person. But I said, we need to work on that. He's working on that. Gonna meet with me some more on it and see what we can do there. Again, there's property insurance, $1,300, about 4 lines down. And again, I just say, is that moved? Did we move that? Retirement, FICA stuff's a little different. We have insurance over there at in the budget workshops and stuff. We came up with 87,431. She has 101,651. So quite a big difference there. Just make a note of that. And then we'll down there at the very bottom, last line, everything else kind of checks out like what we talked about in budget workshop. Ambulance, a whole new line right there. 425,000. We're going to move that to countywide, Becky. Commissioners, page 28. Anybody got any questions? You're welcome to ask, but I probably don't have an answer. All right, commissioners, everything checks out. Slight difference in those FICAs and retirement. Becky sent y'all's notices out the other day of your salaries and so forth and all that. That's going to be published Just double check that for us, please. Make sure that appears to be right.
Okay, so this should, that should.
Page 29, fire and rescue. Chief Garcia came and met with us. Everything checks out other than fire vehicle insurance. Are we leaving it or are we moving it? Did we move it somewhere else? That's $4,500. She has it on here as a expense for the fire and rescue in 26, and we said 4,500 as well in the workshops. But did we move that? Is that in that, when we move that to countywide insurance and stuff? Just need to make sure we're not double dipping there on that one. EMC, he does have a line item in his budget for county cell phone. And then some travel training, salary, everything else checked out there. So that one was clean. That one was nothing there. This is the next one, page 31. It's the IT director, information technology. It would be an IT tech at $20 an hour, 30 hours a week. $20 an hour is what we're going to pay them in OLS, I believe, right? Whatever we pay them in county, we got to pay the same in OLS.
Yes.
Okay. So
Anyone in 20 hours a week under OLS, right? Before the end of the county, is that what you're going to do?
can I do 30 in OLS?
Yeah.
And 20, because what I would like to do here is I'd like to budget $25,000 county money. And then we have $50,000 in OLS money. The OLS offices that he works in we could be compensated back, reimbursed for those OLS hours.
Right now, it's at 30 hours a week.
Okay. That would be the sheriff, my office, the clerk's office, the auditor's office, and the treasurer's office. So when he goes and works at EMS, fire station, the library, tax appraisal's office, things like that, other stuff, it would be on us. So it'd be a split deal. So I'm saying the IT position for us be $25,000 for non-OLS stuff. And then the OLS stuff, we get, once OLS goes away, then this is where we're going to have to start saying, hey, this IT position is becoming but having an IT director and an IT tech, I said $85,000 total, and that would be the salaries, the FICA, some travel and training, and so forth like that. The IT director position, like I say, working on it and stuff, requirements or qualifications and stuff. It would be subject to 24/7 call. That the director. The IT help, not so much, but the IT director, yes, 24/7 call. Because the sheriff's office or somebody has, they're open 24/7, they have an issue, then they're going to be calling, trying to get it resolved. But that on this, in this, it would be the salary for the IT director, travel and training and so forth and stuff. But it would also need to include $25,000 for part-time IT person, and that's $20 an hour, 30 hours a week, for a grand total of $85,000 to cover all of those and so forth. And that's where I reduced when this came about. We started talking about this. Cheryl and I and stuff. We talked about this a little bit. I said, well, we'll take it out of Becky. I said, let's take it out of the building maintenance to try to, because we knew where we were. We knew kind of where we were at $1.2 million fund balance and stuff, and transfer. So I said, let's just take it out of that to compensate for this for right now as we look at the budget. So that's IT position. Road and Bridge. Road and Bridge, page 32. The top part there is revenues and interest earned and CD interest. It shows that we haven't earned any interest this year and don't propose any interest earnings next year. And we had adopted $250 last year for this current budget as revenue. So I'm just curious why we don't have some of that money in interest bearing accounts. Again, we go through there, everything's good. Little slight difference in the FICA and retirement stuff. General liability, we have down there, we did $400 She says we're not haven't used any of that money year to date, but she had budgeted $400 in her proposed budget for her in her preparation. So not sure again if that's moved somewhere, general liability down there at the bottom line and so forth.
That one will probably stay there, that's different fund.
That's their fund. That's right. Okay.
What was it,
So is there insurance on here and stuff? Their vehicle insurance, yeah, vehicle insurance and stuff, 5,500. We had proposed 4,000. She put up, she's put in 5,500 for that. That's a good point there, Becky. Thank you. FM and lateral road. Page 33. Again, there's some interest questions there across that first line. You can see there, we have approved $3,000 in interest, or recognize that we make $3,000 in interest income this year. We're showing none today. She's proposed none for the next year. Interest in CDs and stuff as well. So forth. That's really kind of all, I mean, the kind of clarification there stuff. Well, is that farm to market road and lateral road? What's a lateral road? What are we talking about there? FM,
Unpaved road or what?
FM is a farm to market road, I'm assuming, ranch
Yeah.
farm road, FM, and lateral road. And then there's another page of lateral roads, page 34. Not sure why we'd have.
I think the lateral roads are
Just our true county roads in.
it's determined by mileage and the state comptroller's office thinks,
Oh, okay.
and they call it lateral. You know, how long the road is. We used to have, I don't know how many miles are on now, but it used to be 71 every year. I don't know what it is. But generally, they send an inquiry about how many miles of road, and that dollar amount is based on. It's not a lot of money, but it helps.
And then she, on lateral roads, you can see there, she's got expenditures as well. And this is kind of what we've learned with some of Brent's stuff is working on this is we can have it as a revenue or as money and income, but we need to show some kind of expense to be able to use it. So she's put in there expense of $5,000. This lateral road expenses. 5,500, I'm sorry, 5,500. Detention center. And then Kinney County Jail and Detention Center, pages 35 and 36. Like I say, this is these are new pages for me to see and stuff, so I'm not sure. I mean, I'm well aware of what the detention center does, but it's through the PFC and not necessarily, it's not county tax dollars and stuff, so, but we're showing it as revenues and expenses and stuff. You can see the expenses there.
Said one of the funds is to receive the money.
Okay.
And then, once it dispersed, it's our portion is moved into another fund.
Okay.
I want to say that's how it's done.
Okay, so one of them is the revenues received and one of them is expenses disbursement. Okay.
Who's negative balance?
Mhm.
$1 negative.
Gonna-
In case people, I think, take the jail,
Yeah,
was from, had the contract with the farm, I think, yeah.
oh, okay. All right, fund summaries and special revenue funds. RM and P, various county offices. Again, these are funds that we have accounts for, shows that they have $2,000 in it. No expenses proposed or anything like that. District clerk, RM and P. Again, just shows it's the fund balance. No expenses proposed. Law library. The law library, of course, is it's an online feature, right? And residents can use it and stuff, which and then they pay a fee to, like, if they're pulling a document off of it or doing something out of it or whatever, and so forth. So there's a revenue projected of $1,200, expenses of $1,200, so forth. Record preservation, page 40. Again, there's no proposed expenses and or revenue balance, the beginning balance there. So that fund shows the, as of year to date, in the red, $612. Hot checks, really pretty much an inactive fund now. Brent's office. It shows you have a beginning balance of $4. Hot check fees, hot checks, collections, and so forth, and expenditures. Community development. Again, our question here is we have no interest showing on these funds and so forth down there and stuff, interest earned in CDs and interest. We do have some expenditures for development. She put in there $10,000.
Hey, back to the hot check. You said that's not, we don't even use that no more?
It's very rare. It's very, I mean, there's not very many checks written anymore. I mean, so it's a fun, it's and it all has, it's strictly funds in your account, in your department.
Account that's been there for a while.
I mean, then why are we projecting $2,400 of revenue?
That's what we adopted for this last year. Again, it was just a projection of income and then the same amount of expenses, where if we needed to use funds out of there to do something, Brent wanted to use the funds out of there, he did have an expense line. But there's really, it has very little activity. I don't know, when's the last one even dealt?
And you go back to 22, yeah, it's
Yeah.
done.
We use a debit card.
Yeah. Record management and preservation. This is our, we started a couple of years ago, Becky? Record management and preservation. Courthouse security. This is a line that we have in the budget, and an account that we have, courthouse security. Again, just kind of why on the interest earned, there's nothing, we didn't adopt anything and we haven't earned anything. It has a little bit of money in it. Expenses, he does have some expenses for courthouse security and just general expenses for next year, if we did use the funds. Continuing education for the constable. Small fund balance there, and then she shows an expense where if he did do continuing education, he could use that. JP Technology Fund. This is collected over to JP, just to the peace office, Judge Villarreal's office. Again, no interest, showing no interest earned or anything there, and then no expenses. So I'm wondering why we didn't put. We had adopted $5,000, but she did not in her proposed budget. She didn't put anything over there, so I'm wondering why there's not $5,000 there to show an expense where the JP need to use that for some stuff. And these special funds all have like some special criteria to them as well. So it's not just like she can't just use it for anything. There's certain criteria that these funds can be spent on. Sheriff continuing education, beginning balance. She put in there expenditures of $5,000 just to help offset continuing ed for the sheriff's office. But there's no interest here at this on this. There's no interest here at all. Some funds can be put in an interest-bearing account. Some cannot. Correct, Brent? Something like that. Some funds can earn interest, and some can't. Like on SB 22 funds, the money we don't use that we return. Let's say, like the sheriff's office, he doesn't spend $10,000. We have to return that money to the state for SB 22 funds, but we also have to give them the interest earned on that $10,000 because they give us the whole entire amount of it up front, the $250, and then we have to fill out a report and everything and file it to say here's what we spent it on, items we bought or salaries we spent it on and stuff. And if we don't spend it all, the funds have to be returned plus interest. Historical commission contributions. Beginning balance of $4,100. She shows it to be $1. Not sure why we got $1 there. And then expenses would be estimated at $3,300. Then thus it would give us a negative 35.51 down there. But if we had $4,100 in there when the year began, why is it not there now? So that'll be one of my questions there. Record archives. This was started a couple of years ago. And when we did the records where the folks came in and archived our records, the ones that could be shredded got shredded, the ones we didn't need anymore and so forth. But they marked them and labeled them and stuff. For each office and everything. So it had a beginning balance, fees and stuff. Again, I asked about the interest earned here, and then expenses, $10,000, and expenses to help pay for the record retention, cleanup and stuff. Indigent health, small balances here. Again, interest earned, and SSI reimbursement. And we're not showing any there. We're not showing any interest earned. And then again, this may be one of those accounts. Can't show it. I don't know, but has it's falling there for it. And then the expenses are broken down there pretty good for you and so forth. Projected expenses. Elderly nutrition, again, interest earned for earning, borrowing up. We got the interest bearing account and so forth. Revenues are all showing there. Some of the Middle Rio Grande Development Camp grants and stuff, home delivery meals, transportation, donations. Title 19 and 20, so forth there. Elderly nutrition continued. that first page 51 was revenues. These are expenditures. Again, I highlight the mark there, property contents and insurance. We had adopted 1,800. Year to date, we used 1,606, and she does not have anything in there from her proposed budget. So I'm wondering if that 1,800 did go into our countywide line, that liability line we're talking about, property insurance.
But the thing about revenue, should stay in that fund.
Should stay. Okay. Any questions on that one? And again, little difference on the FICA, retirement insurance down there, but nothing. 53 is continuing education for the judge. Need all the help I can get. I need to put some more money over there. 54, chapter 203, RMP clerk. Has a balance. Revenues in chapter 203 RMPC. Interest earned, we got a question mark there. Again, that may be one of these that can be in an interest bearing account or whatever. Expenses, she put in $15,000. This is in the clerk's office. So vital statistics preservation. No idea. It does have a little balance. A little family protection. Very small balance. Again, it's just, my guess is these are funds that we have that we have to show. Unclaimed funds. $6,200 there. Expenditures, there's no expenditures there. And I'm just curious why, like, it wouldn't show the same thing where if somebody did have an unclaimed fund and they claimed it, we'd have it as an expense item and we could pay them back. And then can we spend unclaimed funds? I don't think we can. I think they're literally, somebody came into the sheriff's office, was arrested and booked or whatever, had $200 or $300 on them. We took it into inventory, took it into the clerk's office, and got it into unclaimed fund account. They never came back. They never came back to claim them up or whatever reason. Election, the clerk's office and stuff deals with election stuff. The rental off the machines, the revenues, interest earned. A question again I have for interest earned, and then election spent was $5,000. Pretrial diversion. It's in Brent's office. He has again, there's no interest earned here reflected in the year to date. We said $1,300 this year. And there's none shown year to date, and none projected for next year's budget. So we got a question mark there. But then you can see Brent breaks it down, his expenses there on the bottom of how gives him some buckets of funds there to use, and so forth, if he so chooses to use funds out of there. County and district court technology, a little bit of money funds there. Interest earned again, what are we talking about there? And then she's incurred an expense of just $5,000 on expenses. Fire and rescue donations, fund balance there. Again, a question about the interest earned. We're not showing any adopted or any proposed. So none this year nor any for next year. And then expenses, she has fire equipment, $5,000. There's an expense item out of that donations. A healthy county. This is a fund that gets a little bit of revenue out of it, not much. And then this is where water and supplies. This is one of the lines where we get water and supply, or pay for water, the bottled water, or the containers of water we have around the courthouse, upstairs and downstairs. EMS donations, small fund balance there. Interest, again, an interest earned item here, question. And then equipment, she just has $1,500 in there for equipment for EMS. County constable, very small fund. Don't know where it would generate money from other than fees or something when he does stuff. Border security, this was donations from Kinney County Border Security. This was an account that was set up during the border, and the initial border crisis got started and everything. Interest earned, nothing's showing there. Not a line there, but that's about 5,300 in it. She has expenses of $5,000. So maybe we ought to try to find something, not a reoccurring expense, but just some one-time something. Attorney bond forfeiture. Again, this is in Brent's department, commission, bond forfeiture commission. Has a beginning balance, doesn't show any interest earned on this. I'm curious to why that is and stuff, but then Brent has broken it all down into different things, the expenses and equipment purchases and stuff like that, training and travel and so forth. Auction surplus, this is what the county has received in auction surplus money. Beginning balance and no interest and no expenses. So kind of curious why we don't have some kind of expenses items there of what we could put in to use and auction surplus. Baseball field donations right now, that's where we're at on baseball field donations, 21,000. This will probably be more, this will be an active project in the year, in the budget 2027 budget year. So right now there's nothing there on expenses. We're just receiving donations right now to help offset the $1 million there. Fund summaries and grant summaries, STRAC and EMS grant. I put in there equipment purchases, $2,000 just to show an expense. Got a little small balance, a little over 2,000. But put in $2,000 expense there on that one just to have an expense where if they did want to purchase something, they have it. LEPC, TCEQ, again, interest earned, got a question mark there, stuff. I wrote down there under expenditures, under travel and stuff, and under equipment, $3,000 a piece, just to have an expense items there. Or if we need to use funds out of that, we could. Colonial Development Block Grant, Colonial Planning. Those are funds in and funds out, so there's no balance there currently. No projects going on, anything there. This is a salary assistance grant for the county attorney. It's $100,000. And then it's broken down how he uses it down there below. Salary, supplies, FICA, retirement, unemployment, things like that.
SB 22.
And then my sheriff's office. SB 22 funds on the sheriff's office. This is $250,000 that we get currently to the county to be used by sheriff's office. Right there, you see it says Deputy Gary, Deputy Alvarez. That's where it was spelled right there. But you can see how he's broken it out for deputies and then jailers. This is jailers and dispatchers only, and so forth. And no part-time employees, no augmentee employees or anything like that. These are all full-time equivalent employees for the county. Unemployment, workers' compensation. There's nothing showing here in this one. I don't know if that grant can't pay that or it can't pay that, but there's nothing down here at the bottom for workman's comp and stuff. And again, this grant be used for supplies, limited supplies, personal protection equipment, ammunition, things like that, salaries and so forth. And then whatever's not spent when we end the year, it has to be returned to the state along with the interest earned. Splash pad, Parks and Wildlife deal, and it's in the negative. That's part of our projects to work on this when the pool's closed. Work on next budget years, remodeling those bathrooms and so forth and stuff. So right now we just have the expenses of the splash pad and so forth.
We're only supposed to get back what, 100?
Yeah.
Is there a time frame
Yeah,
on that?
Yeah, there is a time on the extension and time frame there was. So I said we'll get started right after pool closes. We get in our new budget year. We'll start going out for proposals and stuff and getting the bathrooms and stuff remodeled, the ramp done, the checkoff list that they provided us that they wanted done. Library Methodist grant. This was a grant that came from the Methodist, part of the Methodist Hospital cooperation. This grant has already been given and closed, so not sure why we have a beginning balance on there in the proposed budget for next year and so forth. So that's my questions there. But according to Miss Kinney, that grant is closed. Truth in taxation. This is just a worksheet from the tax appraisal district and so forth. You can go through there and so forth. Part of what Miss Cheryl provided to us. Cheryl, are you on the phone call yet?
Yeah, she didn't have like just a grand total tally sheet comparing hers to ours.
No, Becky and I talked about that as we were going through it, but I wrote down some at the bottom of my page just out of curiosity.
Well, I'd like to see the discrepancies.
Becky, can you put that in the Excel sheet probably?
Yes.
Just what the workshop totals were versus.
That was a day-long discussion in here.
Yeah.
When it comes to adoption,
And I put it on here today, and she sent us that. I put it on here. I was hoping she would be here to visit, to just teach us and educate. Why are we, why is this in there, whatever? What's the difference here? Why we got some differences? All right, Ms. Westbrook, you got some good news for us regarding OLS funds.
Yes, we did a budget adjustment and we get, I didn't approve it, the state approved it for the different under for 66,600. The base that's approved for over 15,000, I think it's 14,895. Money is moved into the county housing. Right now, there's $270,000 in there for the OLS county housing. There is an additional $103,000 in it for transportation for a total of $223,000. 119,000 has been used. The OLS housing, out of county housing, only starting in May and June. That's when the other facilities were closed. That as far as I know right now, about 30,000 of that 270,000 has been used. Unfortunately, that grant ends the 30th of August, which is 13 days away. So that money is only good for this grant year. I'm going to call the state today to see if they would give us an extension on just those budget line items, not the entire grant. And the reason we don't want it on the entire grant is because we would run out of personnel money in some areas. Was also able to get the laptops, the lightning dome system for Tower A, the lightning dome system for Tower B, and the cables to repair where the lightning strike. Took out all of the cables, the fiber, everything on one of the towers, and I think that was on. Yeah, that was the 28th of July. The total for that was $29,000 just to repair those cables. And the lightning domes, that is additional protection. That is a system that's being used as additional lightning protection on Tower A and Tower B, and that is something to be used at Big Bend. So that they approved those with specific items in the budget request, the grant extension. And then the new contracts, I guess I should call them agreements for all of our people to sign for OLS will be sent out this next week. So they sign those by the 1st of September. The last pay period ends on the 30th of August, which is a Saturday. So there's only one person I would know that would be working on the 31st. That would be Chief. So hopefully he does not shoot our schedule to work on the 31st. That way we can end the whole grant and full pay period on the 31st. The good news is that that's about $200,000, a little over $200,000 that they approved that I moved from other budget areas that were unused in order to get those items approved. Questions on that?
So we're unfrozen now?
Yeah, well, yes, what happened was the last year's grant is still on hold, one that they're auditing, that's still on hold. In April, there was a budget adjustment that didn't go in, and it put a vendor hold on every single grant. And when that was cleared up, they removed the vendor hold, which was different than budget line item on this year's grant. So when the FSR went in last month, on the 22nd of July, that was to get us reimbursed for December budget, and the amount that we were reimbursed was $1.2 million. I don't remember the exact amount. So that money did come in last Monday. The payment was made to Kinney County for those 7 months. So we're on track right now that by this Friday, the budget adjustment will go in for the month of July. We have a few extra days to get that in. And then this grant will end up, closes out the end of August. And August is 5 months.
How much is in transportation and OLS?
Right now, the housing is 270,000. And the transportation is 223,119 of that has been used. So there's $103,000 left for transportation between right now and the end of August. In the next year's grant, we have 56,000 for out of county housing and 60,000 for transport. That's what they provided in next year's grant. There are two items, two budget line items. One is Greenwald, the other is BCC, where there's probably $50,000 in each of those accounts that would be noted to increase the one for the out of county housing. So that will get you through the months of September, October, and possibly November, based on what's going on now, and by that time, they may know about what's going to happen in Montiel with a contract for Valkyrie County to handle all of the transportation. But right now, we do have budget line items to keep the next year's rate.
On those towers, do you know if we found out that if the sheriff's department did insure those?
That ended up, yes, that was, well, the information was sent to Danetta when she was here, and she said, yes, they were insured. As far as I know, they are still on their insurance policy for insurance.
Remember the question there.
I don't know, I mean, I have no way to know specifically what things insured through the auditor's office, but I know that that information, Danetta did send me an email last year, and she said they were insured.
How much was the replacement of the tire? Why did we have it?
For the cables, for the damage,
Did you say it was lightning fast or something?
yeah, the lightning domes, one is, I think both of them are right at $40,000. That includes fiber rods, it includes what's called chemical rods, copper wires that go down to the links in the tower. The equipment go on the top of the tower.
One of them's 43,085 and one of them's 40,198.
Two different items, right?
I
Different
don't know,
towers.
it's two different items, because it's two different towers.
Yeah, that's additional. They didn't have them.
Yeah. I was making sure we didn't have to go out.
And that includes the labor, the installation, the power climber, everything to get those. Now, I did have to send an email to the state last week assuring them that this would be completed by the middle part of November, and also any additional equipment would be received by the middle of November, because the liquidation date of the grant is the end of November. So I verify it with all of the vendors. Nick verified it to make sure that equipment would be here.
All right. Yeah,
You do need the amount of our upcoming grant,
2.7 million, wasn't it?
right, $2,771,113.46.
2.771.
11326.
Okay.
And we do have a couple positions that will be vacant, so that money could also be potentially moved into housing.
All right, we'll go to item 4. Approved bills in this first item of the Union County Detention Center. There are none. We do have item 5. We do have some approved claims and bills, including payroll for Kinney County budget year 2024, 2025 this morning. Having a hard time with the electrical company supplying power for the new tower. The new tower is huge. Is it A, B, or C? Which one is it? B or whatever they make. But it's a huge tower. It's AEP's territory, but they're not they don't provide that final link or whatever that's it. So this company that we went with is Genza or
GEXA.
yeah, Gexa. Okay. They don't do paper billing. They only do electronic billing.
Working on it.
And when they send me the bill, they want it paid in 14 days, Becky, or 10 days. Anyway, we're falling in a gap there. By the time I get it, forward it to the auditor, she puts it on the agenda to be approved, and the check's mailed. They're not getting their check before the 14th day deal, so they're sending us turnoff notifications again. So I've emailed them and worked, and they said, look, we're a government entity. We gotta have like a 30-day time frame here that your check, the bill was approved to be paid. It was $57 or something, and the check's been mailed. But he said, this guy's on the other end is just saying, yeah, but I don't see the check hasn't. You still have an outstanding balance. So I agree. I know that, but I'm saying, like, as a government entity, and stuff, we'll still do the electronic billing, no problem there. But I need a longer grace period, more than 30 days. I mean, more than the 14 days, because it hits like, we get the bill like today, give it to the auditor's office, they put it on the agenda for Monday and stuff, but we're falling in no man's land. Like when the bill's coming to be paid. This last bill was $52, I think, or something like that. So we had right at $100 we owed them. And so the check was already gone, $57. So I think the payment was approved last week, was $52, whatever. So I told the guy, I said, well, let me pay you with a credit card today and just give me a credit. Let me just pay you.
Pay a month.
Yeah. And he said, no, we can't do that. Because I thought, well, let me just like,
That was supposed to be my.
charge my credit card $75. Then every time you get a bill, just take it from my send. If it's going to be always less than $60 apparently. So let's like just take it from my credits, and then when you get the check, give that back to my credits or something. Yeah, no, we don't do that. I'm like, well, I mean, we got to figure something. So I kept Cheryl in the emails of all that and everything, because we got to figure something out here, because they're either going to shut us off again, or we're going to have to keep paying a late fee and stuff. And so I'm like, I'm struggling with, and then who to get to talk to above who I'm talking to on the phone. That's been another hurdle and stuff. And so that's where we're at with that.
We're hampered by the amount of people that handle our situation, right? They're one of the few, correct?
Yes.
It's my understanding there's only one power commercial company in that area, and that is it.
Yeah.
Because the address of the tower is Pomado, but I don't know who you were speaking to, but I can look up in my emails and see.
Well, I just called the number, and then
There was a point of contact
it's just button push that button.
that I talked to, and I can be with Desi, I believe. I will get her information and maybe speaking directly to her, she can get it set up for that. She was the one that reset up the contract the last time it was set up, because we had to do it.
We're disbursement authorized that payment, but sure we cannot do it. It's not hurt.
I mean, if they cut that off again, they're not going to give us back service, because they've already cut off twice.
It's like this is about the 28th. We always do first and by the third, we receive the notice so that we calculate the notice that they're looking at. If they didn't receive the money, then we put it up. It only been 2 days from the due date that we received that notice. From the law.
I just, I'll give you the point of contact that I contacted to finally got to set up the second contract, because maybe she has enough pool that she can get something else set up rather than just the building department. But I'll give that to you today.
It's interesting being a paperless company, they won't take a credit card on the phone. That's kind of.
No, they'll take it, but it would be just for that payment.
Oh,
I said, so then when you get the check, give me the credits.
right.
He said, no, we'll send the check back to you. I'm like, hey, if you would just take that check as a credit and then just,
Work off the bill.
yeah.
Right.
I can't pay with a credit card?
I think you pay with the credit card. That's the one that I paid last December. That when we found out it was a cut off the first time, I just used my own debit card, credit card to pay for it. So I don't know why they won't just take a credit card over the phone and then the bill shows up.
Can't keep it on file. Probably not.
I think they say, like, they just want to give you credit.
Yeah, if you like an auto draft off that credit card,
With credit card, it shows up.
then it has to be approved, so I don't know how that all.
They have to work in county government.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you can pay with credit card, but keep it on file. That's the
Right.
problem.
Working on it, trying to figure something out. All right, anything else, other business pertaining to county business?
We approve the bill.
Oh, give me a motion to approve the bills. So moved by Commissioner Craig, second by Commissioner Pavo. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All right, all those opposed, same sign. Nobody abstaining, right? Everybody's good? Okay. All right.
Brad, what you're here for, read.
Well, all right, Ms. Whitaker, you good? Okay, we'll go to executive session. Right quick, I got another meeting I gotta be on here in a little bit, so executive session right quick. To discuss personnel matters. Closed meeting pursuant 551.074 Government Code in order to discuss personnel matters.
Run.